All right, y'all, Red Dot is on. And you know what it's about to be. The question's finna be spot on. Listen, tune in to the one and only, the Soldi man, and I'm here. Listen, oh my God, I'm so excited, y'all. I am here with the one and only. I don't even know how to hype this person up. Because you know what? He's anonymous. He's my friend. Just introduce yourself. Take it away.
My name is removeface, and I go by Neo. That's all y'all need to know.
Yo, he's following the white rabbit, y'all. Tune in now. All right, listen. So, cameras were turned off just a little bit ago. First, let's start off simple. How did you get into the underground sphere? What was it like to make those first big breakthroughs? And how did you find yourself in this position?
It's actually a long story. I've been doing this longer than people have known me for. I've been tapped into music since I was like 12 years old. Like when I first started using softwares and shit, like I was just fucking around with like GarageBand and shit on my iPad and whatever. I was a little kid, like a lot of people were. And I started getting into SoundCloud like 2016 when I saw people like X blowing up, Ski Mask, Wi-Fi's Funeral, Lil Pump and shit. I was like, shit, I can do that too. Like I can just upload the music onto SoundCloud. So I started doing that. I never had big traction. And I actually quit for a whole year. 2020 was when I quit, when I was like, all right, it was fun, but I'm not doing this anymore. And I just got back into it 2021. And because I started getting into the new underground with all the hyper-pop shit, like when it was dying, when the sizzle core started like emerging, I started making music then again. And I just had my first breakthroughs with shit like my song Dennis Rodman, shortly after I dropped Forever, which is my biggest song to this day. And it's because of like connections that I had that like really got me up. So that's what I have to be thankful for that, because a lot of people, they go into this music shit just super rushed and they don't have a vision and they just start dropping and they're like, why am I not blowing up? It's because you got to make connections first. That's all about this scene. That's like the whole new aspect of it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things I first noticed when I first started doing these interviews earlier this year is that the main dynamic as of now is that people will click up on these places like Discord, maybe even Telegram, TikTok and places like that, and quickly exchange, collab, and meet people that they end up sticking with for a little bit, and then, they go their way. And
right.
It's definitely interesting, and a lot of antics go down, like a lot of trolling and a lot of like needless beef.
No, yeah, definitely. That's actually how I came up, was off of connections. Off of Discord, when I first started using Discord for music, and off of my Instagram when people would look for me, I got to meet people that thankfully to this day are my friends and collaborators that would hit me up. And my first ever connections were through a collective called Skullweb, started by my friend Rain Dance, Bloody Rain. Shout out Bloody Rain. That's how I met all these people, and I was really getting into the scene. We started collaborating and shit. And because of that, like the whole community, when I joined the Moon 47 server, that's where I met Universe, and like the rest is history. That's how it's been happening. Like recently, people get these connections, and they like, even through beefs, like people get recognition through beefs because people tap into that shit. Like any attention in this scene, sadly but true, it's good attention because you're gonna bring those numbers to your name, no matter what.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely true. I have this belief, I talked about this in the Universe interview, where it's like everything happens for a reason. That's the good way to put it, right? And yeah,
exactly. I believe in that shit too.
Yeah, like the reason people are on top right now is because they either wanted it bad enough and then they got and did it, right? And I see a lot of artists nowadays complaining about that should be me blowing up, caught within the envious mindset. And I truly believe it's not because it's because they don't know how to transmute that attention you're talking about, making all, because that's what artists value. That's what all these brands value, is that attention.
Exactly. Like, especially like when it comes to the envy that you talked about, I really like that. It's like these people are trapped in this envious mindset. They're like, oh, that should be me. Then why isn't it you, bro? You need to spend your negative energy being jealous and turn it into music. You need to, if you're doing music, you focus on that music, turn your energy into something positive, and you will get a positive result out of it. I've done all of this shit that I've done was for fun. I do take it seriously, but I never once thought like, oh, that should be me. I should be doing better than him, because that's just going to trap you in this mindset, and you're never going to see growth because you're going to be so trapped in that naive mindset of like negativity and envy.
Absolutely. So could you elaborate more about how like the mind space you were in when you first got into the music scene versus where you are now?
When I first started, it was just a hobby, man. Like, it was just fun. I would make something, I liked it, and then I would either post it or just keep it to myself. Like, it was always just something I did for fun, because I was like, I want to be like these people eventually that blew up. But I never was envious of them, because I was like, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'll do it my own way, try to make my own sound with it. And that's how I did it when I was really young. And even then, like 2021, until recently, when I've been seeing like big traction, not even on SoundCloud, like on Spotify. My Spotify is catching up to my SoundCloud, which took years to make. And the way I treat it now is I still treat it the same. I have fun with it. I just make whatever I want. And yeah, I take influence from artists that I like or sounds that I like, but I have my own voice and I make different styles. And I still see it as the hobby that I really enjoy, except now I'm making a profit off of it. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that people recognize me and like my music for what it is and search me, so I have more fun while making a profit and supporting myself, so I can continue to do this and have a love for it. It's not that much of a different mindset. It's just the income that's changed, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how I like to I talked with 1,000 rappers, it seems like, at this point, about success and what that looks like. And I've always characterized success and measured it by degrees, right? And the first degree of success in anything, in any field, is just doing it, you know? And the second part is the identity that changes, right? So, for example, I always like to do this. I say, all right, I'm fat as hell. I weigh 400 pounds and I want to change, right? The first thing, the first measure of success is actually doing it, right? And then once I do it enough times and think it enough times, my identity will change, you know? Instead of a fat, lazy piece of shit, I am now an active person who goes to the gym. And then eventually all that fat goes away. I experienced the same thing when it comes to artistry, all right? Afterwards, I mean, sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm not enough. But when I'm in the studio and I'm doing what I'm supposed to, I'm editing videos, it's like, this is who I am. I'm tapping into that potential. In your art,
that's the mindset. Yeah. So, go ahead.
In your art, do you ever recognize, you know, a separation between the real you and who you present yourself to be?
That's my whole thing, man. Like, when I make music, I tap into this completely different identity. My real name, of course, isn't Neo. Removeface is a whole different thing. It's almost like a character. When I tap into the music, I'm like, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want the people to hear. And this is the energies I want to transmit through my music. But outside of that, I'm a normal ass person, like everybody listening. Like, I live a normal life. I go to school. Like, I just live my life, and nobody knows about that. That's the best part about being who I am, because I can keep that completely separate and still make what I love, and people love it, and they love me for me, but the me that I made up, you feel me? Like, it's such a cool thing for me, because it's not like a facade at all, because this is who I am. Like, people know me for this person I made up, and I channel it, and I transmit through it. And this is how I make my music, and this is how I like express myself outside of my regular life, which nobody knows about, and pretty much nobody will. I'm going to keep it a secret. That's the whole thing. Like with fame, I made this identity for myself. I made Removeface because I don't like the idea of fame. I don't like the idea of blowing up and then seeing yourself become almost like a monster, turning on people that you cared about, turning on your friends, only caring about the money and for being recognized. I can't have that. I have made this identity to prevent that from even happening, because I'm still Removeface, but nobody knows who's behind the masks, and nobody knows what my real name is. And honestly, even if people find out, it's not like I'm going to be public about it. I'm still going to be mysterious about it. And it's not like because for fun, even. Like, it's just so I can shield myself from the negativity that comes with the curse of fame, is what I call it. because fame is a terrible thing. Like, I love the income and I love doing this for fun, but fame really kills that passion. And I've seen it happen to so many artists, man. Even in this own community, like I've seen artists that used to be small that were so cool turn into just like they're like assholes, man. They're arrogant. It's sad to see. And I'm starting to grow, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay chill about it because I still live my separate life. I just drop when I feel like it, and people love it. And that's just what it's all about. That's why I separate the whole identity thing from my music. That's why I channel that when I sit down and I make what I make.
Wow. So that's a powerful message, and it seems like you're the protagonist in the own story that you're writing right here. To continue with this allegory of literature, let's talk about some of your imagery. All right, your imagery is very ethereal, but it's also very plot driven. You know, there's elements of Spider-Man, there's the Destiny thing, skulls, and each one carries this motif of venturing into the beyond, the unknown. Here I see a cover art of the Riddler. You know, shout out the Riddler. You know, through your imagery, what message are you trying to convey?
It's really simple, actually. It's not even nothing too crazy. Like, when I make a song, I think about, damn, like what are my interests? Like, what do I like? What do I want to channel through my songs? And I just look up like, oh, this looks cool. This is something I like. This is how this image makes me feel. And that's how I want to put it into my music. That's how I choose my cover arts. It's just select. Like, I love Destiny. I played it dude, I spent so much time on Destiny as a child. I would do raids all the time on my Xbox 360 with my old fire team. Like, I love Destiny and I want to channel that. I hear Destiny through this. I think it's cool. I'm gonna put it there so people can see. Spider-Man, bro, I've been the biggest Spider-Man fan since I was like 5 years old. And when I think of this, I'm like, dude, it feels, this song feels like putting on the black suit for the first time. You ever seen Spider-Man 3? Shout out. Yeah. Like, it's just a feeling, and I channel it through my music because I just wanted people to like see this. I just want people to be like, oh, this is how I feel when I listen to this removeface song. Like, it's something cool, and people can like relate to me in a way. They can be like, I like this too, and I like this cover art. I'm gonna listen to the song, and they feel my music, and hopefully they can convey that like feeling through my imagery that I use in my cover arts.
Excellent. Yeah, imagery is a stellar tool to allow people to create a world. Like, when I listen to music and I close my eyes, like there's a movie playing, like there's a visual thing going on in my head, and it's important that whatever I'm seeing like is congruent to the music. You know what I'm saying? And that cover art is definitely, every single one is spot on representing, you know, that sound. So would you say that everything that you do is intentional? I mean, with the whole removeface thing, each thing is like intentional. Okay, I just
absolutely. So many of my movements have been made calculated to how I want things to play out. Even with like the order of songs I release, I have unreleased. I drop it in an order because this is how I want my numbers to look. And even with that, I made sure prior to starting all this, my face was completely obscured for no one has seen my real face in this music community other than like my close friends like Universe, some others I will not name. I've made sure my face has been hidden for years, dude. Like, if anyone pulls anything up, it is not recent, if that ever happens, which it probably can't, realistically. And my whole deal is just like move in silence. I made a whole song called Silence. Y'all should check that shit out. It's pretty fucking good. But I've been doing all of this movement in silence. People just see me pop up on their algorithmic playlists. They don't catch up with me. I see new listeners all the time. That's how I grow, because I'm moving quietly. I'm working on music as we speak. I've been working on music for next year already. Damn, like, it's just, I've been doing all of this behind the scenes, and there's so much shit that I've been just up to that nobody knows about, and that's how I like to keep it.
So I'm seeing a lot of inspiration from this one hacker movement known as Anonymous. Anonymous, for the viewers watching, was a group in the early 2000s, and they did some actions in the towards later, like the last decade or whatever, with Trump and all that. Was this hacker movement, and they were all about anonymity. on the internet, and I value that. I think that's a virtue definitely on the internet, because it's necessary for certain freedoms, right? Is there any inspirations that you can hearken to, you know, outside of the ones you mentioned, like, you know, Destiny, Spider-Man, any real world influences?
I will say Anonymous is actually slightly influenced into my image, because Anonymous were advocates when they were really prominent. They were always fighting for the right thing. And I myself am an advocate in this music scene. There is so many problems, dude. There is so much problems. There is racism, homophobia, transphobia, pedophilia, like all that, like scamming. That's scamming some bullshit, but like it's still a problem. They're so prominent in this community, and I myself am against all of that shit. And I'm gonna start conveying that in my music soon enough. I've been collaborating, I've been working, I've been talking with people. We have shit planned because we will not stand for this shit. And Anonymous always was they weren't attacking people for the harm of it. They were attacking people they knew were doing wrong. The people who had their prominent names in their form of government or their image, like corporations and shit, they knew that they were doing wrong. That's how I feel sometimes, because my image is, my remove face persona is only based on the fact that as an artist, you don't need to know who I am. Just you consume and enjoy what I'm making for you as the fans. And I still connect with my fans. I respond to so many of them. I'm always in touch with a lot of them. And yeah, like they don't have to know who I truly am. It's like me as an artist, I'm connecting with you. But yeah, Anonymous is in a form of way like connected to what I do, because I myself advocate for the right thing to do, because there's so many problems in this underground scene. Like a lot of people are just really fucking weird, and people just still support them, and I don't know why. Because people lie, people manipulate, and I'm sick of that, dude. Like this shit has to change, and I'm gonna do what I can for it.
Absolutely, that's very motivational. So you work with a lot of artists. You know, you've mentioned that before. What is it like, and which artists do you want to work with in the future?
Working with people has always been interesting for me. Like, yeah, people sometimes pay me so I can like do features with them, and I'm always happy to do it. I get it done quick. I love doing it. I love working with people. But when I hit up people to make songs, like it's like a scouting process. Like I truly see what they are capable of. Everything I produce with these people that I reach out to, it's just always, it works so well. I feel like I have a dawn for knowing like when something will be good with someone. Like me and Universe, I'm gonna give y'all a short little story. I met Universe through Discord in Moon 47 Underground server, the very first one. We met in this channel called Collabs. It's the Collabs channel, and we just clicked instantly. Like I just I said like a few simple things, like if he wants to work, and he was like, yeah. He sent me 2 opens, and I instantly knew like me and this guy are gonna be like on some XXX Tentacion Ski Master Slum God type shit. Like we will be a dynamic duo. And our first song did decent. It's this one in binary code that's called Shut Up. But then when we made Forever, bro, that was something else. That was just a whole new, I have not been able to replicate a sound like that. And honestly, I won't go for that, because as an artist, you always need to grow. You always need to evolve in your sound. And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's why I take my breaks and I take my time. And then after we made Forever, we made Tainted Love, which is also Universe's biggest song. And I was like, okay, I see a pattern. Me and Universe have these energies that just like blend in so well. And that's the beauty of collaborating with artists. If you find that spark with someone, you have this connection. It's almost like a bond through like sound and your minds, because me and him, we have very similar views. A lot of what he said in his interview, I agree with, and I see it the same way. We are complete opposites too, in a lot of senses, but we're also so alike. It's just beautiful. I made a real long-lasting friendship through this collaboration with him, and that's why I love doing it. I love hitting up people to work, even if it's just like a short collab. Like it's cool. And people that I want to collab with, I've been getting in touch with this new rising artist that I saw on TikTok. And then what I'm saying, like those connections from TikTok, it always works out in your favor if you do it the right way. This kid, Toby Perrier, check him out. Shout out Toby Perrier. He makes crazy music, like on some Wayland synth wave. It's so fucking cool. And other artists I want to work with, like I would love to work with like Heroin Hound or like probably Baclio, dude. Like Baclio has crazy vision and he's really fucking talented and shit. And even then, like I want to work with artists outside of this whole community. I want to explore my sound in different ways. Like with this Toby guy, like he makes really cool synthwave, and I want to explore that side of it. I would love to work with my good friend Double O Scully. Shout out DJ Double O. It's just so many people. I can't even get into it. How many people I want to work with, because I love making these connections with people. Because there's so much energy that's transferred through the sound. Even if you don't speak directly to the person, you can find like in what you make. You can be like, wow, we work really well together. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a beautiful thing. That's why I love collaborating.
Absolutely, bro. I once a while ago made a song with a friend of mine in real life, and me and him, we have like the same methodology of looking at art. Like we look at art the same way. I believe that music is God, right? Like music contains this infinite aspect to it. There's never going to be a day where we say, damn, we made all the music in the world. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, it's almost like you can have different ways of looking at it, and when they are compatible, you truly make magic. I swear to God, music is magic. What's your thoughts on that?
Music is magic, dude. And I'm gonna get like all spiritual and shit, but like music brings people together. Music heals the mind. Like people listen to music to escape their anxieties, escape their problems, and it takes them to this place. When you listen to a song, it takes you somewhere that you want to be. It's like your happy place. Music saved my life. Like making music has gotten me out of so many hard times, and seeing people say the same thing about my own music, it's just incredible, dude. I am so grateful for like all my listeners, and especially the ones that appreciate my sound and that tell me these things about their lives, like how I impacted them, how I made their lives better, how I saved them, how I improved their relationships with their family because of my music. Like people have said that to me, and it's beautiful. Like I think music is magic.
Yeah. Is there a way to like detect if somebody is like compatible or not compatible with you sonically?
It's all down to really how you personally feel about the song. At the end of the day, as an artist, you need to recognize like this sounds good, this doesn't. If the person is compatible with you throughout the sound, because y'all can be like really dry with each other and barely even talk and make the song together. But if it has this sound that you're like, I have never in my life thought I could make something like this, that's when you know like you are sonically compatible with this artist, and you should definitely work with them more, because you can both get big exposure off of it. Like me and Universe, it's all a strategy. We found that spark and we're like, all right, we both agreed like I'm gonna keep you by my side, and we're gonna work together and we're gonna grow together. That's how we see it. Me and Universe, we are tight, and we are on this whole journey together. We've been talking almost every day for over a year, and you know when someone isn't sonically compatible with you, and you're like, okay, this just sounds like another song like anybody could make. And especially if y'all don't click by talking, communication is everything in so many aspects. And with collaboration, you need to be able to like befriend the person. You need to get to know the person if you really want to make that connection with a collaborator. If it's just a one-time thing, let it be a one-time thing. But if you want to genuinely keep making music with somebody you think you're compatible with, befriend them, talk to them, ask them how they're doing, even if they think it's corny. Like just communicate with them and just grow that relationship over time, and you will see that you are compatible with the person.
Absolutely. There's a lot of ways, you know, with the expanse and growing nature of the internet. Like a lot of collaborations are being made in very niche environments. You know, TikTok, the algorithm, it has a special way of linking people, messages, and ideas together. And the thing here is that the barrier of entry is also at an all-time low. Everybody's hopping in now. Everybody wants to be a content creator. With that being said, hold up, I'm having a brain fart right here. I totally had a really good point. The barrier for entry being low. How? Damn, I don't even know. What was it like to build your soundscape from like that first plugin you had, working with it, building your vocal chain and things like that? What was it like to build your own soundscape?
it took a long time. It took a really long time. And that's what a lot of artists, especially younger ones, don't understand. And you won't find your sound by like copying a preset or ripping something straight off, which is something that is so prominent in this scene with so many like new artists coming in. And yeah, they want to sound like their favorite artist, but that's the problem. If you keep copying something, you won't get anywhere. And people like to troll me and say like I'm a clone. I'm really not. I have so many other songs that sound nothing like these artists that people accuse me of cloning. And finding my own sound with my vocal chain and all that, I'm doing this interview with the same shit I record with. I record with Apple earbuds plugged into my MacBook Pro, bro. You really have to sit down and just experiment for hours, days, weeks, even months. It took me 2 years to find the preset and the vocal chain that was right for me. My first few songs, it sounded like shit. It was mixed like garbage. Like I sounded rough. I sounded inconsistently, like my sound would inconsistently peak, and the compression was all that shit. Like it just sounded bad. But over time, I kept finding things. I would tweak things. I would move the compression, like all that modulation shit that's like gibberish to the normal person. Mm-hmm. I would just tweak around with it until I would be like, okay, this sounds cool. And it was until you have that big breakthrough with songs that blow up, you need to be like, okay, this sound is what people like to hear from me. Let me see how I can build from it. Don't stay on the same sound. Don't keep the same vocal chain and the same preset. Build from it. The Forever preset grew into my preset from now, which is a very crisp, heavily auto-tuned, like super low voice, like raspy tone, which I took a lot of inspiration from my good friend Lacey. Shout out Lacey. All of our collabs are insane. But that's how I found my vocal style. Yeah, and you can take inspiration from artists you like and your friends. We also have to find a way to make it your own sound. I have a unique voice that I like to implement into the sounds that I already like to hear and then add my own tweaks to it, you know? You need to really sit down with yourself and think, what can I make to sound the best I possibly can while still sounding like myself? And this is advice for every small artist out there. Find yourself before you try to do something you're not.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Yeah, it really is a rite of passage. This life that you live as an artist is similar to one that is, you know, like of a human, and it has to mature. And as you mature, you'll travel different places and pick up different things. And it's almost like that boat paradox where it's like you have a boat and you replace a piece of wood every time. Is it still the same boat? I mean, it's still the same shape, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, as long as it does that, bro, the limits are endless. So I think
that's how it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're good.
All right. So, my question that I totally brain farted was, all right, everybody wants to hop in now, right? Barrier for entry's low. TikTok algorithm is doing its thing, and it seems like people don't need to get signed anymore. People don't need to go through a label, have a tech crazy ass studio engineer to do all this mixing shit. Like, it really could be down to one person in their bedroom making hits. You know, what does that mean for the future of the underground? What is the future gonna look like?
I think personally this is a pretty hot take, but I feel like record labels over time will start to like deteriorate. We will see that out of the mainstream, which will also die down, record labels will not be as useful as they used to be. It costs $20 a year to make an account on DistroKid and start making your own 100% royalty like income from your own music that you can produce from your bedroom, just like I do and just like all these other artists do. Like, I'm not this big huge artist, and I am a kid who records in his bedroom, and I make this for the people, and anyone can do that. And yeah, you said the entry barrier is low. It is. Anybody can make their account on SoundCloud, get a couple connections, upload their music, and promote it. It's free. Anybody can do it. It's just if you have the initiative to go and do it. And that's the thing. Once you start finding out the secrets to the algorithms and consistently create and connect, you'll get that growth that mainstream artists don't even have when they started, because it's so different. Everything is so different from 5-10 years ago, when artists had to genuinely work hard and like go out and go to studios and meet people and bust their asses making music. Anybody can do it from the comfort of their bedroom. I use GarageBand. It's free. I don't spend any money. I don't pirate anything. I use earbuds, and I'm making songs that people love to hear. I'm making a steady income off of it. And that's why I think in the coming future, record labels won't be as useful, because record labels tend to milk artists of their most popular music, which happens to artists from the underground that emerge into a label. That's why Opium is so successful for the underground artists that are in there, like Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson, which are becoming mainstream, because Opium is an independent label, and they don't milk their sounds that blew them up. They keep evolving in their sound. That's why big labels like Universal, like Warner Brothers, like they are milking their artists if they're underground, and that's why their careers fall so quickly when they were popping on SoundCloud so recently. And that's why I feel like it just won't be the same. Anybody will be able to do it, and whoever blows up. They just wanted it more, or they just have the right marketing strategies. At the end of the day, it all comes down to either you really want it or you're a marketing genius. And if you're both, you're making it huge, because people are growing and want to hear this new sound that's emerging. The sound in my underground community, it's not the biggest. Not a lot of people love it, but a lot of people do. The people that do, they fucking consume it like crazy. And over time, these people are going to show it to more, and it's just going to become this really big, prominent sound. I think the term sigilcore is going to die off, and this is just going to become the norm. This is going to be what everybody's going to be listening to in the coming 5 to 10 years, which I will still be active in that time. And I'm going to be right when I say that there's going to be a change where everybody who's independent will be able to have a chance at becoming the next big thing.
To compare this, what people have been working with for a long time, there's a whole part of the underground that is like trying to emulate mainstream music. And I'll tell you what, bro, I swear to God, like that shit is like done for. It's futile. Anybody doing that shit is futile. Like you're not going to be as successful as Drake or all these people that you're, making sounds after, you know what I'm saying? And you can see that through like social media. The kids aren't fucking with that shit, bro. It's like music is a very generational thing. Like old people listen to fucking rock and roll, and then the older heads, they listen to the old school rap music, and that sounds nothing like what's popping today. And now you go look into the kids, the Gen Zers, you know what I'm saying? It's like, we like that glitchy shit. I love that glitchy shit, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely know what you mean right here. If the record labels are dissipating and there's a new business model that is emerging, how can somebody land themselves in the position of success? I mean, what should one do to be like just catch the wave?
Realistically, it's learning the algorithms. It's calculating weekly drops and shit, like figuring out your target audience, how to market towards them. Even small things like their own interests, like you gotta market towards them in that way. You gotta make your image seem to connect with the people that listen to you. As you can see, my music, through my stupid cover art and shit, like people like that. And the people that listen to me, my own community that I have, they are all in a way connected to that. Realistically, that's the path to success. You need to analyze, and you really need to do your own market research for your music, because I have mastered the algorithm. I know how to get on there every time. It's so simple for SoundCloud. And once you have that down on SoundCloud, people will look for you. You can start doing that on other platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, people will look for you, and that's real money. That's real income. The other thing that I could say, the spiritual aspect of finding that success, never stop, never give up, and never change who you are just for like a slice of success. If you have that image that you have made in your head for your music and your values and virtues when you're going in and recording this stuff for people, keep that image, never stop working. It took me years to get to where I'm at, and I'm only just now starting, and I am so grateful. I say that so much, but I'm so grateful for everybody that tunes into me. You really need to never give up. It's motivational, but it's true. You never have to give up when you're making something. There's so many times when an artist, especially an independent one, feels discouraged. Oh, I can't find the right beat. Oh, my vocal chain sounds off. I can't come up with any lyrics with any substance. Nobody's listening to me. My song flopped. Don't stop. Don't delete the music. Keep going. Keep working. It'll come to you eventually if you really show that drive for it. The universe will reciprocate that energy into what you make. If you really want something, you got to work for it, and it'll come to you naturally. Those are two different aspects that I have on the topic of how to get success. There's obviously the technical one, figuring out how to market, figuring out what people like to hear and doing it over and over, evolving in the sound as well. And then the other one where you really have to work for it and you have to put in that effort and show that you want it, because people will notice you if you keep pushing it out, as long as you maintain your image, because image is so important in music.
Absolutely. Yeah, image, optics are the lens that your consumers will see you through, you know. So if they see you one way, it's not going to be the way that you're going to be thinking. And as close as we can get that to the real life, what I'm trying to say is this, and this is the thing about ideas in general. Having an idea almost comes from this separate realm, like a realm. I swear to God, it's a real place, and the idea enters your head and you become the vessel for it. But it's so hard to put it into words sometimes, the ideas that we have. And I feel like music is a perfect example where you get that catch, that niche. You walk into the studio with the extra pep in your step and you're like, I know what I'm about to lay down, and it comes out a certain way. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about where these muses come from, the source of your inspiration? Where do you think that is located?
Like, you mean like what got me into music, like inspiration wise?
Like, is there a way to always have like an inspiration? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, is there a way to rid yourself of all blocks? I should have worded it like that.
No, really, the real answer is no. There is no real way you can rid yourself of the blocks that artists always have, that writers always have, producers. It comes the same to every creator. Everybody has their blocks, and it's a natural process. It's a part of the growth process. When you have a block, it's because what you're doing, that's it. That's all you can do with it. Now find the way to get rid of it, quote unquote, get rid of it, because you can, is when you have the block, analyze what you've been doing, go back to your roots, see what people like, add it to what your new sound is like, see what happens. Keep trying. It's all trial and error. Music, especially now, because there's no pressure from labels and everyone's independent, it's trial and error. Keep trying over and over again, and that's how you can escape the blocks. You can't get rid of them, but you can escape them by consistently trying and adding new flavor to what you're already creating, especially when you're already in a block.
Okay, that's definitely something of note. I've talked about a lot of important stuff. This is always a hard question to ask. The question of your worldview. Do you feel like your worldview affects your music at all? You know, how you see the world?
Absolutely. And that's a tricky topic for a lot of artists, because some artists just make music and they don't incorporate anything from their lives into it. And my music, it doesn't seem like I incorporate anything to it. Yeah, my lyrics sometimes lack substance. I say random or basic stuff because why? That's what people want to hear, especially if it sounds cool with my voice. But a lot of my music is influenced on how I see my world, my personal issues, my own anxieties. I transfer them into what I'm making. That's why some songs, I just make something completely different to what I make randomly. Like one of my songs, Drown in You, or Oxytocin, or Enough, one of my more recent ones. Those are influenced by shit that's going on in my life that I don't publicly speak about, but I just channel it through my sound. And it's always nice as an artist to have like an outlet, you know, to just release any negative or positive energies you feel into your sound, because you can make something completely different that people love. And that's why I don't personally judge if you're an artist who doesn't incorporate their worldviews into their music, but it's always good to fall back on your experiences and your values when you're making something, because you can always make art. My entire album Defaced was based on a trying time in my life, and even though the sounds don't even sound anything like it, maybe the second half a little bit, because I made it that way strategically, but I make music even if it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with my life. Sometimes I make it so I can get an escape, and it's always a good thing to have as an artist, is a medium to express yourself and to release any emotions that you have bottled up, because that's what a lot of artists like find refuge in, is their own music. Like me and Universe, we escaped battles of depression, anxiety, and insecurities through our music. Me especially with insecurities, because removeface may be a symbol of anonymity, but it's based off of my insecurities, based on my name. And the removeface identity is not only based on anonymity, but it's also based on my insecurities because of the name Remove Face. I've always struggled with my image and what I look like, and I never really was comfortable in my own skin. And that's why, like, I feel like, hold on, what was the question?
How does your worldview and how you see?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I feel like it's always a good thing to have your own experiences and issues like backed up into your music, so you can have that to fall back on as an artist. Because when you incorporate those things into your music and really touch into your emotions and your life, you can make art with it, and you can make stuff that you didn't even think you could. I never thought I would make an album. I struggled for so long with making an album. Like, for a really long time, I would announce albums and just scrap them. When I felt this really intense, really strong emotion in my life, especially during this summer, I just sat down in a whole week. I made the whole album. I made these songs that have nothing to do with anything I make. People love that shit. So that's why I feel like your worldview and your personal issues, you can use those in your music, even if it doesn't have anything to do with it, and you can make something that people will love to listen to.
Absolutely. Yeah, like, the reason why I'm asking this question is that people may see, like, Remove Face, he's all about anonymity. How can he have, like, character behind his music, you know? And I've always respected the faceless protagonists, people like Master Chief or the Doomslayer, like that, because it allows me to insert myself into that and allow me to empathize more with, you know, the character. And I think a lot of viewers and listeners of your music do that with you. You know, they really resonate with your music on a way that, like, he's speaking to me. He's not speaking to anybody else. And that, I feel like on a grander scale, that's why the underground is gaining so much velocity right now, is because a lot of disenfranchised youth feel connected to that music in that way.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, the whole Spider-Man shit, some people think it's stupid, some people think it's goofy. I personally don't care. The whole thing about Spider-Man, that anybody can wear the mask. You can be Spider-Man. That's how I want people to feel through my music. I don't have a face. I'm just speaking to you through my music. Anybody can be Remove Face. If you, especially like for smaller artists, that's how I want them to feel when they look up to me. You can be me. Like, that doesn't mean go and copy my sound, obviously, but like, that means you can do what I'm doing, because I'm teaching you through my music how to do it, just by making those sounds that you enjoy making. Because I'm not gonna be this big arrogant person that has a big ego and whatnot. Like, no, I'm down to earth. I connect with my fans. I connect with smaller artists, and I tell them, like, keep working. I always tell them, keep working. That's why I want people to feel like they can be connected to me through my anonymity, through my facelessness. It turned into it was an insecurity, and it was a whole, like, scheme of being anonymous, and it turned into this beautiful thing of, you can be in my shoes when I make this music for these people, especially my more emotional songs. I'm just speaking my mind. I'm just feeling in my music, and people love it, and they tell me this song speaks to me. Like, when people tell me that and reach out to me and appreciate what I make, that's when I feel really good about what I make, and I just think to myself, they're in my shoes and they're feeling what I feel through my music. And that's why I want to be this really good influence on small artists and my listeners. Even when I'm just saying complete bullshit, people enjoy it, and they can just sit there and be like, yeah, I want to fuck around and dance to this music, but he's speaking to me. Remove Face is channeling to me through his sound. And it's just a nice thing, because I turned something that made me feel so negative into a positive outlook for other people. That just means a lot to me as an artist.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. I always feel like you mentioned, like, that the whole, like, the absence of a face used to be an insecurity, right? And I find that in life, weaknesses turned into strengths end up becoming vital.
Exactly.
Weapons. I used to hate my voice. I used to record that shit and hate it. You know, I feel like every artist goes through, but like,
that's why I'm wearing a voice changer right now, bro.
Facts. Like, hey, I get it. Like, sometimes I listen back to my voice, and it's always a symbol almost of, like, cringe, dissatisfaction. You're not enough, bro. Get rid of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
But now it's something that people know me by, you know, and it's like a signal for leveling up, for change, for growth. you know. And I definitely feel that, you know, just through talking to you right now, like that motif. That's excellent, bro. All right, my last question for you is this. If you could speak to a younger version of yourself, what would you say?
What I tell every small artist, bro, don't give up. If I could talk to my younger self, I'd be like, look, you're going to go through a shit ton of hardships. A lot is going to happen to you. You're going to be affected by a lot of personal factors in your life. But that music shit will work out if you just don't give up. You need to maintain that image. You need to speak to other people and turn your weaknesses into your strengths, because people will see you for that. People see me as removeface, and that was something I hated about myself. And now it's the thing that makes me me, especially. And all the people love it for what it is. And I would just say, don't give up, keep working hard, and you can sit and cry about your issues when you're still young. But when that time comes that you have to make your mark, you gotta work hard and you gotta keep making what you feel like making. Don't ever copy anybody else. Take inspiration, but be yourself through it. And I would just be like, I would just say that, don't give up. That's what I want to tell everybody. Don't give up. If you really want to make it big, if you really want to be this big artist that people look up to, don't give up. It'll come. Your time will come. People, you just need to be patient. It'll come to you when the time is right. The universe knows when it will happen. You just need to keep going and just don't fucking give up. That's all I gotta say.
Listen, now's the part of the interview where if you want to give any special shout outs, any disses, or talk about just whatever you want to talk about, now's the time to do so.
Look, I'm not gonna publicly diss anybody yet because I got some shit to say. There's some people that I do not fuck with. A lot of weird people, but I'm gonna save that for my own music and my own public views on my Instagram and what. But I want to shout out a couple of people that brought me to where I am. First of all, shout out Rain Dance Bloody Rain. Without him, I would not be where I am. He got me those connections. Shout out Universe, my best friend in music and my #1 collaborator. Shout out my good friend Shorty. He's one of my locals. Because of him, I would not be doing music right now. I gave up, and then he was like, let's make a song. I'd said, okay, let's do it. Shout out to him. Shout out to everybody in AV, me and Universe's collective. Shout out everybody in BCO, Blue Club Ocean. I love them all. Shout out Secret. Shout out Stazuno Stay. Shout out Swaze. Shout out Lacey. Shout out Rachel. Shout out Aura. Shout out Lost Rushi. Honestly, I have so many people to shout out, but if you talk to me and we're friends, shout out all of you. Like, I could not have done this without any of you. And shout out to all my listeners. I love all of them individually. Without them, I would not be what I am. I'm infinitely grateful.
Wow. Listen, just listening to this, it just gets me in the right mind state, and I hope the viewers feel the same. Listen, go follow my mans. Go do what you have to do to be successful. Live a meaningful life. Do something that you love to do, man. Don't live life for anybody else. Live it on your own terms. Go follow removeface, though. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing you got to do, all right? Throw the information up, you know what I'm saying? Link in the description. Listen, it's been Saintly Silas, the soldi man, with removeface. Oh my God.
Man, thank you for having me.
Hey man, it was an honor to be speaking to you. And I'm all.
That's likewise, man.